Good morning, student. Welcome to the next lecture of the electrochemistry. In our previous lecture, we were discussing it related to a galvanic cell, which we also termed it as voltaic cell or electrochemical cell. Now, particularly after construction and working of the cell, how it works, on what principle it works. The principle on which it works was chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. Now, that principle, we are saying it that the chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. How much amount of the current is produced during the reaction? What is the total amount of the current that will be produced? If I am calculating it, it is considered to be as a cell potential. So, we want to study now about the how to calculate the cell potential for any given cell. Right? So, first of all, we will define what is cell potential. Cell potential, it's defined as tendency of electrodes, difference in the tendency of the electrodes to gain or lose electrons. Difference in the tendency of electrodes to gain or lose electrons. That means in our first lecture we already told it that when we are having it, this thing to study it, what we said, anode can be Zn or it can also be on cathode. Then how can we recognize that whether it will be on anode or whether it will be on cathode? So to know it whether this zinc will be on anode or cathode, its tendency to gain electron will be calculated or tendency to lose electron will be calculated. So whichever the two electrodes are connected together, one will be having it as a high tendency to gain electron, then the other one will have a higher tendency to lose electron. In a simple example, forget about the electrochemical cell. Take it as an example. If I give you a sodium metal, what will you say? It has a tendency to gain or lose electron. Correct. You will say it that it has a tendency to lose electron because it's a metal. Okay. At the same time, on the other side, we were having it as a chlorine. So question will be whether it will have a tendency to gain or lose electron. Immediately your answer will be chlorine will have a tendency to gain electron, but it was forming in compound, right? So one was metal, one was non-metal. Here in the electrochemical cell, we are having both of them as a metals or both of them as an electrodes, maybe metal, maybe anything else, but solutions also. But in that case, both of them are in the same conditions. So both of them are having a tendency to gain electron as well as to lose electron. For example, you can say that the example we took it as in zinc and copper. We know it that we were constructing it. Both of them are metal. One was anode, one was cathode, one was deposited, one was dissolved. So how to find out? That depends on the metal to metal, right? So for that case also we are having it as in something to study related to it, that how can I recognize it that which one will act as an anode and which one will act as a cathode. But before that we got it as in the tendency to produce electricity by this cell is considered to be as a cell potential. So the word is written as difference in the tendency of the electrodes to gain or lose electrons, right? Okay, now during the cell potential, when you are making it as a calculation of the cell potential, remember one thing, both of them, both the half cells, whichever you are taking it, either consider that they are going to gain electron or consider that both of them are going to lose electron. No doubt, during the reaction, we know it that in the cell, one is going to lose electron, another one is going to gain electron. But here you have to be very careful. This is where the student makes an error. So be careful what I am just going through. How to calculate the cell potential, right? Either both of them, the tendency of both of them to gain electron, that means both of them are going for the reduction. Both of them to lose electron, that means both of them are going for oxidation, right? So in that case, what will happen? Like we took it as an Zn on anode. Zn gets converted into Zn plus 2e. On the cathode, we got it as Cu plus 2e gets converted into Cu. Both these, one is oxidation, one is reduction. But still, when I want to calculate the standard cell potential means both these solutions, both anode and cathode, will have 1 molar concentration at 25 degrees Celsius. So I am calculating it for standard cell potential. Difference in the tendency of electrode to gain or lose electron in standard condition. So in that case, what we will do it is E naught cell. This naught indicates standard condition. E naught cell is equals to E naught of anode, E naught of cathode minus E naught of anode. That means the tendency of losing electrons or gaining electrons, whatever is there, whatever we are going to consider it. At present what we told it, cathode minus anode, potential of the cathode minus potential of anode. That means I am going to take it over here, reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode. Though both the reactions are going, one is going for anode here, copper, that is reduction, and anode, that is oxidation, but I am not writing the oxidation, I am writing the potentials in the form of both as reduction. So E of cathode minus E of anode. Okay, in some book it will be indicated as E cell is equals to E naught of anode minus E naught of cathode. So at that time what you have to do it is, we will be taking its oxidation potentials. We will be going it for both as oxidation potential. If I am writing cathode minus anode, I have to consider reduction potential. If I am taking it anode minus cathode, I have to go it for oxidation potential. Somewhere it will be also indicated as. See, these are the simple representation, different ways to write the equation. Either of it you have to remember one of it, and you can write it any of it, right? We wrote it as E cell is equals to E of right minus E of left. Now right minus left means what? When we did it as a cell representation, we always wrote it over here anode, we always wrote it on the right side cathode. This is left side of the salt bridge. It's a left side of the salt bridge. It's a right side of the salt bridge. And so it is written as right minus left means cathode minus anode. It means reduction potentials will be used. So for it you will be using the reduction potential. Okay, now what are these potentials? This is the formula that we got it. What is the cell potential and how to calculate the cell potential. But how to calculate particularly for this? So let us take it as a same example of zinc and copper. Now for the zinc, it is indicated as E naught of Zn plus 2 Zn. It's a minus 0.76 volt. Don't bother, these values will be given to you. For me, because of the number of practices, we remember that value, but these values will be given to you. E naught of Cu plus 2 Cu, it's a 0.34 volt. Right? Now, this is the standard potentials. If they are non-standard potentials, their value will be changed. But how to recognize that whether it's a reduction or oxidation, whether this potential that given to me is a reduction potential or oxidation potential. So what we will do it is, just see it, it's indicated as E naught of Zn plus 2 Zn. What does it indicate? It's a plus 2 oxidation state changed to 0. So that means it's going from plus 2 to 0. When the reaction goes from plus 2 to 0, it indicates reduction. So the potential given to me over here, minus 0.76 volt, it's a reduction potential. Right? Similarly, E naught of Cu plus 2 Cu, it is also plus 2 to 0. It is also reduction potential. That means in both the cases I have been given out reduction potentials. Right? In exam, they may give you one as reduction, one as an oxidation. So by doing this, you will be able to find out the change in the number of electrons, whether they are increasing or decreasing. That will help you to know that whether they are reduction or oxidation potential. When you are going for the calculation, both of them should be in a same condition. Now, if I am having it, what is the value I am going to get it? Cathode, we are going to get it as 0.34 volt minus 0.76 volt. That means standard cell potential of Daniell cell, that is of copper zinc, it's a 1.1 volt. Right? See, if you change the formula, you can do it as the same. The reason is, you can say it as this E naught oxidation potential, that is equals to minus E naught of reduction potential. That means only the sign is going to change. Right? If I want to write it as an E naught of Zn plus 2 Zn, it's a minus 0.76 volt. Then for the oxidation potential, Zn plus 2, that means 0 to plus 2, it's an oxidation, its potential will become 0.76 volt. Right? Similarly, if I want to go it for E naught of Cu plus 2 Cu, that was 0.34 volt, which was a reduction potential. If I want to convert it into oxidation potential, that is Cu to Cu plus 2, it will become as oxidation potential. Its potential will become minus 0.34 volt. That means E of oxidation is equals to minus E of reduction. So only the potential sign will be changed. Now see the formula, if I am going for it, E of cathode minus E of anode, if I am using reduction potential. If I do oxidation potential, what will happen? Anode minus cathode. Anode is E naught cell of E of anode minus E of cathode. We will get it as 0.76 minus 0.34, that is equals to 1.1 volt. So either of the formula, either of the way when you are calculating it, answers are going to be one and the same. But only the thing is, you have to be very, very careful that for both the cases you are using reduction potentials. Though one is going for oxidation, one is going for reduction. But the potential calculation, we are doing it as a difference in the tendency. And the tendency should be same. And that's the reason why both of them should be oxidation or both of them should be the reduction. Okay. So this is the formula to calculate standard potential of the cell. E cell is equals to E naught of cathode minus E naught of anode. Forget about the rest of it. At least concentrate on one of it, and every time make it sure that you get the reduction potentials and you do the sums on basis of that reduction potential. But again, as I already told you, because we are having in practice, we know it, as well as we are aware about the potentials. But the question arises for the students. How can they recognize that which one will go for anode, which one will go for cathode, and how these potentials are obtained? So to calculate the potentials of these cells, the tendency to difference in the electrodes, that means one is going to lose, one is going to gain, the differences that we are going to have it. Always it is represented onto the galvanometer, that is 1.1 volt, but I can't recognize individual potentials. So to calculate that individual potentials, we are just joining the cells with one standard cell potential containing component, or we consider it as standard half cell. That is, we are going to study about one of the cell which is going to have it as in standard conditions, and we can calculate the another one which we will term it as SHE, standard hydrogen electrode. It is a standard hydrogen electrode. It is considered to be as a standard hydrogen electrode. The reason is these hydrogen has a tendency to gain as well as lose electron, and during that case the potential tendency, it's almost zero, and that is why by using this half cell as in one of it to calculate the potential of the another half cell. So how to do it? So first of all, the half cell was constructed by taking it as in the container in which the solution is filled. It's a 1 molar H plus solution, any acidic solution, 1 molar H plus solution. In it a platinum plate, this is platinum plate connected with platinum wire, it's coated with mercury black Hg, it's a PT wire, right? It's covered in a glass tube. It's covered in a glass tube which is already connected through conducting wire. This is a glass cover. From here H2 gas is allowed it to pass. From here hydrogen gas is bubbled. So this is known as standard half cell of hydrogen, SHE. When this cell is connected, we will take it as an hydrogen SHE half cell connected with another half cell. Now if this is going to act as an anode, what is the reaction we will be getting it? H2 gets converted into 2H plus plus 2. As anode, it will act as an H2 gets converted into 2H plus plus 2. But in place of that, if we say that we are having it as an half cell which is connected to standard hydrogen electrode, where hydrogen electrode will act as a cathode, then at that time on the cathode the reaction you will get it as H2H plus plus 2E gets converted into H2. So this is oxidation, this is reduction. This cell can be connected in either of the way. So as it can act as an anode as well as cathode, it can go for oxidation, reduction. At the same time, the potential of the cell H2H plus, whether I am writing it as an oxidation, see I wrote it oxidation because 0 plus 1 oxidation, or if I am writing it as an E naught of H plus H2, that means I wrote it as plus 1 to 0, it's a reduction, right? But the potential is considered to be as a 0.0 volt. We will be getting it as a potential equals to 0.0 volt. So because of it, whatever the difference we are going to get it, like if I am going to calculate it as E naught of cell, I am going to put it here H plus H2 minus any other cell, but this value is going to become 0. So whatever the potential I am going to get it, it's a potential of the whole cell. So that means I can calculate the potential of the any given half cell by connecting with another half cell. So this is considered as reference electrode. Standard hydrogen electrode is considered as a reference electrode. Okay, and this is the construction, it's a working, it's potential. It can act as anode as well as cathode. This can be asked to you as a short note, explain standard hydrogen electrode, right? Or what is the function of standard hydrogen electrode? Function of the standard hydrogen electrode is to by using it we can calculate the potential of another half cells, because single half cell cannot go for oxidation or reduction, right? So that is why it is also termed as reference electrode. Okay, but this was about the standard hydrogen electrode. But by doing this, what will happen? By doing this, we can calculate the potentials of the cell. While we are calculating the potentials of the cell, let us take it as in some of the examples. Like hydrogen, we know it, H2 got converted into 2H plus 2E, we got it as potential equals to 0.0 volt. In the same way, if I take it Cu plus 2 plus 2E from Cu plus 2 plus 2E, that means I am going it for, this is oxidation. Okay, let's do it as the given in your textbook, reduction. As per given in the textbook, reduction potentials. As per, it's given in your textbook. One of the complete series is there, which is known as EMF series, electromotive force series. By using reduction potential under 25 degrees Celsius, 1 molar concentration, 1 bar pressure. It is fixed. So that means this is under the standard condition only. This series, whichever is given in your textbook, is for standard conditions only. Now for it, it's told to me like Cu plus 2 plus 2E gets converted into Cu. The potential E naught of the cell, it's given to me 0.34 volt. Right? Similarly, it is also given to me in the textbook. If you will find out, you will find out Ag plus electron gets converted into Ag. Its potential is 0.80 volt. If I go it for Fe, I will get it as Fe plus 2E gets converted into Fe. I will get its potential as 0.44 volt. If I go it for Pb, then Pb plus 2E gets converted into Pb. I will be getting it as minus 0.14 volt. If I go it for Zn plus 2E, you will get it as Zn. You will get the potential as 0.76 volt. If I go it for Mg plus 2E gets converted into Mg, you will get it as minus 2.37 volt. That means once I am getting the potential by using the standard electrodes, I will be putting them according to the decreasing order. This is the decreasing order of the reduction potentials. So from this, once if I am putting it, this was my standard condition, H plus electron gets converted into H2 where 0.0 volt. So compared to this, because this is the electrode that is going to be taken to calculate the potential. Once we get it, the electrodes that are being arranged, the whole series formation takes place. In your textbook, all the elements have been given out, right? No doubt, they are not all the elements. Huh? They are the certain elements. Of one complete page is written, but we are having 118 elements, as well as each element has a tendency to produce more than one oxidation states also. So their potentials accordingly will be changed. If you want to see in your textbook, particularly for Fe. I wrote it Fe plus 2 plus 2 into Fe. You can also get it as Fe plus 2, Fe plus 3 plus electron gets converted into Fe, or Fe plus 3 plus 3 electron gets converted into Fe. So that means the potentials we can get it as many of them. But out of that, few of them I wrote it over here only to understand that the series which is given to me, and once the potentials are given to me, how this EMF will be useful to me. See, once I get this EMF series, what will be the application? This one will help me to know it that which electrode is going to act as anode and which one will be going to act as cathode. Which one will have a higher tendency to gain electron, which one will have a higher tendency to lose electrons. That can be recognized. That means which is going to act as anode, which is going to act as cathode. The one with a higher potential, the one with a higher reduction potential is always going to act as cathode. Electrode with higher reduction potential will act as cathode, and electrode with lower reduction potential will act as anode. Or in short, to understand it, the one which is as a lower one will be anode, upper one will be a cathode. For these two cells, if they are connected, then which one will act as an anode? Zn will act as anode, Fe will act as cathode. But if these two electrodes are connected, then Fe will become anode, Pb will become cathode. If Zn and Mg are connected together, then Mg will be anode and Zn will be cathode. So depending upon the electrode potentials, upper higher value containing potential will act as a cathode, and the lower one will act as a anode, and using that you can construct the cell. So that was our previous question mark. How can we recognize that which one will act as anode or which one will act as a cathode? This we can understand it by the help of the potentials that are given. No doubt, you don't have to remember these potentials which I wrote it over here. None of them you have to learn it. The potentials, standard potentials will be given to you, or the complete standard cell potential will be calculated and given to you. Right? These potentials you are not there to learn, but at least I should be able to remember that some questions, if they are being based on this have been asked, I can very easily answer it. Right? So at least some basics that are there, which are number of times we are using it every now and then, if you can learn them. If you don't, values will be given to you, you can write down the answers very quickly. Right? So this is the application of it. But the most important, why we want to understand this, what is the reason, what type of a question will be asked to us. The question I am putting it, question that can be, can I store zinc sulfate solution in copper vessel? A simple question. Can I store zinc sulfate solution in copper vessel? Okay. Now during this case what happens? Zinc is having minus 0.76 volt. Copper is having 0.34 volt. Now what does it show? It's already in the +2 oxidation state. So it's already dissolved and it's going to act as anode. And this one, copper, it's already solid and it's going to act as cathode. So here deposition, here dissolution, dissolving of the electrode is going to take place, but it's already dissolved. So it is easy to store zinc sulfate in copper vessel, right? Because the one which is going to get dissolved is already dissolved. The one which is already going to get deposited is in the solid state only. So we can store zinc sulfate solution in copper vessel. Let's have it such type of another questions also. 2-3 different questions so that you can understand it, what we want to say it actually. Another question is, can we store CuSO4 in Zn vessel? See, now this time the answer will be no. Why? Zinc is anode. Zn is anode. It will dissolve. Now if the vessel dissolves, how can I store the solution in it? Vessel is going to dissolve. If the vessel is dissolved, how the solution can be stored in it? And that's the reason why we can say that the solution of anode can be stored in the vessel of cathode, but solution of solution of cathode cannot be stored in the vessel of anode. Another question. What will happen when gold ring falls in acid solution? What happens if your gold ring falls into the acid solution? That means you are having it as an EU and H. In the EMF series, EU, it's having it as an higher potential, and this one will be having it as an positive potential, and this one is having 0.0 volt, right? So what will you say? This one is going to act as cathode, this one is anode. If cathode drops into the anode, cathode has to deposit, but this is already solid. Its deposition is going to take place, but the gold is not going to have any problem at all. So if the gold ring is fallen into the acid, there is no effect of the on the gold ring, right? So we can say that nothing happens. So our answer will be no effect on gold ring. So like this, the number of questions that can be there for you, which is considered to be as the application of EMF series. And the second factor, already I told you, that can be calculate potential of the cell. But till now we studied it, that were standard potentials. We got it as E naught of cell in standard condition as cathode minus anode. These were under the standard conditions, right? If we are having it as a non-standard conditions, that means if cells are in non-standard conditions, then we will have to use Nernst equation, which is different. Over there, this cannot be used. It's applicable only for, this is only for standard conditions. For non-standard conditions, we will have to study something different, that is Nernst equation. But we will study that thing in our next lecture. That's for the today's lecture. In the next lecture, we will study what is Nernst equation and the application of the Nernst equation. Thank you.